Hello. A couple of things just wanted to talk about. Things that people like us, myself, have been talking about for a few years now. We've been shouting from the rooftops, whether you believe it, like it, or not, about the whole jabs. And as much as I've been praying for a couple of years, and a lot of people, millions have been, um, things are coming forward that we were hoping weren't going to happen. Um, So I ask people, this is not, I'm trying not to scare people, but it's time to wake up and really start to see what's happening around. If you're jabbed or if you're not jabbed, you have to start really doing your own research and figuring things out. Do not trust the so-called experts, medical authorities like the Faucis and the government anymore. They're not out for your best interests. Things are going on now. You'd have to have your head buried in the sand to not see it, even if you're just watching mainstream news constantly. People are dropping dead right and left. Young people, athletes. This last few days, Jeff Beck, celebrities, uh, Presley, all sorts of people. There's videos from all over the world of newscasters having strokes and dying on camera. So you have to ask yourself, there's a lot of fake news talking about different things this may be happening, like global, they're attributing a lot of it to global warming and all this other crap. But you have to ask yourself, why are we all of a sudden having these rash of deaths, he says, they call unexplained or sudden deaths happening, and it's increasing this last 6 months. It's been happening and kept quiet for about a year now, a little over a year, but it's really starting to come and accelerate. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse. Um, you have to ask yourself, why is this happening? What has changed in the last few years that wasn't beforehand that's causing all this? Do not listen to the mainstream news. I'll tell you what's changed from what we know. There was COVID and there was the vaccines. Those are two things that have been changed, that have been introduced into the population the last 3 years. And so you have to ask yourself, which one is it and why is it happening? This is where you need to do the research. I've talked a lot about this over the last 2 years. There's ways to open your eyes and start to wake up and then find out ways to mitigate things for your health, whatever you believe in. But it's time to start looking at other alternative ways for your health. There are some things that we found, supplements and other things that I've talked about on here. But this is going to probably get worse. And I hate to say it. I've been praying, a lot of us have been, that it's not going to go the way we thought it was. But it's happening. VAERS, all these sort of systems, and the narrative that's been put out there by the mainstream news, the fake news, by the Faucis, by the current administration select, all that is falling apart. So on top of this alone, just the COVID pandemic and everything related to it, this is what I'm talking about. The whole narrative is falling apart on all this, all of it around the world, and you're seeing it. It's even popping into mainstream news now because they can't stop what's coming, and things that we've talked about as well. They can only hide the truth for a certain period of time, but that truth is starting to come to the surface more and more. So you have to ask yourself, what do you want to believe in? A lot of people are going to have a very, very tough time with this. So now is the time, if you were ever so inclined, or if you had any bit of a doubt, to just stop listening to what the mainstream news is saying and these experts and start doing your own research. It's a win-win. You can't lose by that. Going out, starting to do your own research, knowledge is power, and then taking everything that you find, put it in your hopper, as I've talked before, and use your own discernment and decide what's best for you. Do it for you, not for what everybody is telling you to do. Your church, your government, your doctors. Do it for yourself. This is where what we talk about waking up, starting to use critical thinking and reasoning. So again, there's a lot of these sudden deaths, unexplained heart attacks, myocarditis, kids who are 17 years old collapsing on fields. Why is this happening? I know. A lot of us know why it's happening. But you have to find out yourself. And once we start to become together and realize what has been done to to the population. Change will come and people will be held accountable, and it's starting now. I didn't want to really do this video, but things are happening so fast. It's not, I take no pleasure in doing this, but we are finding ways to help keep our bodies going no matter what you did, from supplements, and I'm repeating myself again. And yes, ivermectin. But that's for another video. I did one on that about a year ago on all the natural holistic supplements that we can have for COVID and for getting jabbed, but YouTube took it down. So I put it up under BitChute. I'm going to do another one here soon. So stay grounded, knowledge is power, and use your discernment. Thank you.